Alrighty, what's up? So, let's get this stream underway. This was a super awesome one that we had with Dre, as you can see, of the 7-6 Collective. Super cool guy, super awesome what he's doing with his own little collective. He actually had this whole collective going before even there was like an internet money or anything, which is pretty cool. And you'll see I ask him about that in here. But yeah, if there's any questions or anything during this, feel free to ask. And yeah, let's kick it off. The first link to donate. So thank you guys so much and enjoy the podcast. Welcome everybody to another quarantine edition of the Small Town Producer Podcast. Joined as always by Luke. You make sure to follow us. I'm Beats by Kana on every social media, and then Small Town Music Producer is on everything. Got on Audio Mac, Apple, Spotify, whatever. We are joined today by Dre. He runs the 7-6 Collective, which is a big collective of. This was obviously before I got my new camera. Producers who are doing awesome things in the music industry right now. So what's up, man? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you for having me, man.
Yeah, for sure.
We're excited, man.
Yeah, this is awesome. So, as we mentioned, you are the head of the 7-6 Collective, which is a big collective of producers. And Luke, you mentioned that you actually met Dre before.
Yeah, it was at the 8 days recording session.
Like a year ago.
Team 208. Yeah. So I didn't even know you were gonna show up. That was like the one day I went, and you showed up, and we chatted a little bit and just kind of hung out. And I mean, there was a lot of people there, so it was pretty cool. But yeah, that was pretty cool. And then I honestly forgot to mention to Kana. not that it matters, but yeah, it was cool meeting you in person. But I wanted to talk more about some other stuff, and it was just there was a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, it's all good.
Awesome. Well, that's cool. That's awesome that you guys got to work together on that. That ended up being a pretty cool project. So I guess Dre, let's just start out. What are some of the things that people might know you from, might have heard of yours? Some of the things you're most proud of.
Okay, so let's see. I think a lot of people know me because I was kind of one of the first producers that I actually knew that was just producing out here in Idaho.
Mm-hmm.
So I worked with pretty much everybody as far as Idaho catalog. I think I have songs with pretty much almost every Idaho artist, just locally and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, let's see. I started out here in Jerome, the Twin Falls area. So this is kind of where I got my start, producing. So I pretty much know every artist around this area. I'm not too familiar with Boise artists and stuff, but yeah, I got my start here in Twin. Go ahead,
I would
Luke.
say we're kind of familiar with you, at least I am, because I know when I first started looking for other producers and just.
The thing about Boise is people just say Boise. But Boise kind of incorporates a bunch of smaller areas like Ada County, Garden City, Meridian, Eagle, all these different places. And because people in Boise really aren't used to having being in a big city vibe or whatever, it's pretty interesting because people will be oh, there's the two extremes. There will be people who are really used to being in small areas. So they're oh, you're not that far from me. You're in Twin, which is an hour and a half away. And it's no, that's pretty freaking far. Or they're way too used to being close to everything. And so then they're oh, I'm in Eagle. Oh, you're kind of far from me. And it's bro, Eagle's just up State Street. It's 30 minutes, so it's really funny because he's talking about all these people from Twin. We have a lot of people come in from Twin when we were having the in-person Boise Beatmakers Club, and they would just come in from Twin, and this thing's in the morning at 10. It was crazy that they were driving in. But yeah, so that's just why he talks about, he kind of knows like people from this area but not from this area, and that's why.
Just in Idaho in general, like AC Delgado popped up, you popped up, Marco popped up, and those were kind of some three major ones that I was like, okay, I need to like figure out who these guys are working with and
Right.
So yeah, it extends past Jerome and Twin Falls, I would say, because in Boise, I think a lot of producers in the area have seen your work and kind of know what you're at. But anyone in particular, like any artists you're really excited about working with, or some projects that have come out that you've been really excited about?
So I don't really work locally anymore. I'm more like, I work, all over the place now. But I work with a lot of people from California. I'm originally from California, so that's where my sound is really like designated. I work with some dudes out there that are pretty solid. One of them is Jay Anderson. That's my primary artist who I work with, and me and him got a lot of stuff coming, and we're just trying to grow out there. I feel like, I don't know, California's got way more of a scene than Idaho, and I feel like I need to expand more because it's just necessary to do as a producer. So yeah, that's who I'm working with right now.
So can you talk a little bit then about kind of how you started, and then what led you to kind of go through this process of maybe saying like, oh, I've worked with the people from here, I've seen what's here, like I need to go and try to kind of expand who I'm working with.
Right. So you're asking like pretty much how I started first. So you want to like how I got into producing? Is that kind of what you're asking?
Yeah, I guess just kind of your journey of like going, meeting people here, then going beyond even that.
Okay, so yeah, I started producing when I was like 12. I wasn't very good. I mean, no one's good when they first start
yeah.
But I started.
That's crazy. I didn't start producing until I was like 22 or something, like messing around. So 12, you already had like 10 years on me, man.
Producing when I was 12, just messing around with FL, like FL 9 or 8. It was like one of the first FLs,
Wow.
So I was messing around with that for like 4 years, and then I got into high school, and I was like, okay, like I'm starting to go somewhere with this, So I started like investing more time in it. So I started just working with random people at my high school. It was just kids that were just like part-time rappers or whatever, So I did that for a little bit, and then it wasn't until I met I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Scaly Waves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I met him, and like from there, just kind of everything just started like happening really fast. I was working with him pretty extensively. We made like almost a whole project. We have like a whole project together worth of just beats and songs. I mean, most of it's not out just because it's like whatever. But I met him, worked with him, and then from there, I kind of just connected with like, all the other Idaho artists, and that's pretty much it. Ever since then, I just been working, just getting out there and stuff like that.
Awesome. Okay. So, you've worked then with the Idaho artists, you've worked then with the California artists, or wherever, all these other artists are from. What is kind of something that you've seen that you would say that more small town artists, like the ones here in Idaho, what do they need to be doing that they're not doing? Like you're not seeing them doing it.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people in here are kind of like in a loop. It's like I don't want to say everyone's doing the same thing, but like no one's really wanting to expand, and they're really like kind of stuck on a small town mindset, if you know what I'm saying. Like
Yep.
Yeah. We know what you're saying.
This was super cool he mentioned that, because if you've listened to the podcast, we're always talking about the small town mindset. Got to break the small town mindset.
So do you think that is kind of like a creative thing, maybe style choice, or like just a work ethic, or anything in particular?
I feel like people here in this area are too stuck on impressing other people, and I feel like they have. I'm not trying to take shots at anybody, but I feel like people have too big of egos.
This is so true, especially in the producer community. So much of it is about like oh, I can sample this, or oh, I can make melodies like this, or well, and it's like that's great, but if you're not doing anything with it, like what, you know what I mean? Like it's just a waste. I don't know. I mean, no one is like thinking about doing stuff at a good pace, you know?
Like to want to make anything bigger. I don't know. Like I don't know. They're too. I don't know what it is. Like too confident or something that what they're doing is good enough. But
Yeah.
I think there needs to be more like unity in this area. That's my opinion. Like I feel like people should be more collaborative. If you want to build something, you gotta make something bigger than just yourself. That's my opinion. But yeah,
And he's done such a good job with that because of his collective, how collaborative they are, sharing stuff and whatnot. And I think that's part of the thing that we struggle with here is like, I've worked with like a few of the producers from here and whatever, but like it's not often that people like send stuff or try to make stuff. So uh, it's got to get more collaborative for sure, because more stuff gets done that way. Your network grows because people know different people that you might not know.
I feel like definitely people need to get rid of their egos and they need to be more collaborative, and that'll build more of a scene here in this area. Because I mean, there really isn't anything that anything booming, like super special about this area. But yeah, that's kind of my take on it.
So how do you yourself kind of push past that, I guess? Is that when you decided I got to start reaching out to other artists online?
Yeah, I realized that so I was working with people here. I realized that my work really wasn't getting me anywhere. I wasn't like, I'm satisfied with, placements and stuff, but I'm like,
sure.
As a producer, you want more, right? Like you want,
right.
You're like, yeah, I can take this bigger. So I kind of just totally like disregarded this. Like, not, I don't want to say I disregarded, but I just kind of left the scene alone here for a little bit, and I wanted bigger things. So that's kind of where like 7-6 Collective came from. I'm like, I wanted something bigger than just myself. I need like, I'm thinking I need a team. I need more connections, and this is how we're going to get placements, and this is how we're going to branch out. So, yeah, from there, I just kind of started, connecting on the internet. Internet's a vast space of just endless knowledge. So like, I'm going to go look around. I'm going to find people that like kind of correlate to my sound or making something similar, and I'm going to work with them, and that's how I'm going to expand. Yeah. So.
Okay. So obviously probably one of the easiest correlations people could make by looking at what you're doing is maybe like internet money or something similar. Was that kind of in your mind when you started making this, or
so I really didn't know about internet money until like a year ago. So I had kind of my collective already going, and then I'm like, okay, well, there's another producer group, internet money. And yeah, I guess now that I look at it, I don't want to say they're an inspiration, but I like what they're doing. I respect them. They're putting on for a lot of producers. A lot of people have come up because of them. So I kind of want to do something a little bit similar, but not necessarily. Like my plans for the whole collective is a lot bigger in the end. Kind of what I'm looking to get out of it. But yeah.
Do you want to talk at all about that? Like your kind of longer term plans for the collective?
Oh yeah, I guess I could go into that. So as of right now, we're just like a producer collective. We have like our little artists that we work with and stuff. But eventually, kind of now it's already turning into a business for us. I mean, we're looking to expand into other things as far as like fashion and like graphic design and stuff like that. But as of right now, just because we're still kind of pretty small, that's what we're focusing on. But eventually, like I want to get us into if we blow up and stuff, like I want to get us into like actual businesses and stuff where we can have multiple avenues of revenue, so we can actually like fund our passion. We could do music full time. But yeah, that's just kind of like what we have, and that's what we're going for right now.
Okay.
No, that's awesome. How many members do you have right now?
There's 5 of us, including me. Yeah, so there's 5 altogether. We had more, but there's fallouts and stuff, and just people not wanting to contribute. So we had to trim the roster a little bit, but there's 5 primary members right now.
That seems hard, honestly, because I mean, everybody has kind of their.
I was gonna ask him too, like, because I know that there's been a lot of people to leave, even like the internet money one, and so I was gonna ask him like, have you had any problems, people leaving? And turns out, yeah. So
Their own goals, and it's probably hard to pick
or
people
having to kick
who
people out.
align with the
Oh, yeah.
vision.
Oh yeah,
And
definitely.
how do you go about, you mentioned kind of picking based on style, but do you then start to reach out to people that you find online? Can you talk through like how you search for them and then kind of initially talk to them?
Yeah, so I feel like my first thing is like I need to see what kind of person they are as far as like intentions and stuff, because there's a lot of, like, no matter what what you are, like an artist or a producer, there's people who only want you for opportunity, you know. So you have to be really selective about who you work with and stuff like that, because people will use you, you know. It's people, I've been used as stepping stone before too, like it's happened to me firsthand, you know. So yeah, you have to be, I'm very selective, you know. We're all very selective. We all like kind of, I don't want to say we take votes, but I kind of spread, like if I find somebody that I think could be like very beneficial for the team or a good addition, like everyone goes through kind of like a little review process of what we think, how good we think this person will be of an addition to the team, or you know, stuff like that.
Okay, so on the 7-6 Collective Instagram page, there is like one of the highlights, and it says to like join or send a portfolio or whatever.
Yeah.
How many people have you actually selected that have like sent to the portfolio, or how much of it is more just you finding somebody organically that you're like, oh, this person is someone that I think that we could mesh with?
Yeah, so we haven't picked up anybody yet, but like you said, we're reviewing our submissions like at this time, and just kind of going through people that we think would be a good fit, you know. Because I mean, we've got you know, a lot of submissions, but it's more so we're just being like very, very selective about the process, because this is like I said, it's becoming like a full-time business, and we want people that are going to take it serious, you know, and they're actually willing to contribute. So yeah.
You've done portfolio selections in the past, right? People submitting before. Did that come into, I mean, did you get any people added to the team through that?
Like when we first started, we haven't really done any, you know, we really haven't added any new members within like the last year. So
those are probably the people that aren't even in it anymore, honestly.
We're just now that we're kind of like, you know, starting to pick up a little bit of steam, we're starting to get a lot more people interested in, you know, joining our team. So yeah, we have to be very selective about that.
So where are the other members located right now?
So I have my brother Leo from he's not really my brother, but he's like brother to me. Mm-hmm. He's in Atlanta, and then I have everyone else is in the Netherlands. There's Valley, LRS, and Hoodie White, and they're all kind of like in the same area. They all kind of know each other. So yeah, that's just us, and then obviously me in Idaho right now. So
okay. And would you say that has been really helpful, because like the people who are in these other areas, have they been able to connect with artists that like maybe you wouldn't have been able to just because they're
exactly. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. So my guys in the Netherlands are working with, you know, Netherlands artists, and then we all kind of act as A&Rs as well. Like we go out and search for artists, and if I feel like I can't pertain to this guy's sound, I'll send him over to one of my other guys, and if they have the same sound, but you know, I'm like, dude, you should work with it, you know. Mm-hmm. And it just builds connections for everybody in the end, you know. Right. We're really. Well, go ahead, Luke.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you're building a network basically, and like the ability to connect people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you guys do like frequent phone calls and just talk through like, what do you guys want to work on? Like, here's the plan, here's how we can execute it, or is it very much more like individual? Can you talk at all about that? Just like how you guys come up with plans and stuff?
So we have like a group chat, obviously, where we all, you know, communicate ideas across and stuff. But every like week or every 2 weeks, we'll have like a group call where we can discuss plans for the week, or you know, plans for the month, or what is our goals, like what are we trying to achieve. But like pretty much every day we're always in contact, you know, like, you know, just working on things for the team, or working on things for the Instagram page or the YouTube. You know, we're just trying to keep things rolling at all times, which is kind of hard. Like we don't want to be complacent. We just want to keep keep the ball rolling pretty much. But yeah, we have our calls like every week, every other week, where we talk like what our goals are going to be, for the end of the year, or where we looking at to be a year from now, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, how does it work typically when you guys want to like collab? Is there a lot of collaboration between all of you guys as producers, or is it more just the sense that you guys all network together?
Yeah, so we work collectively to just like in actual producing, sharing loops and
Okay.
midis, whatever. Yeah, yeah. So we do that pretty often. I think I have more beats together than I do alone, to be honest. Like just because we're always, sharing new stuff together. Or if we both want, or if two of us want to get a placement with one guy, I'll be like, dude, let me do the drums, or I'll do the melody, you do the drums. Just we like to keep everything together. We're really like kind of built like on a brotherhood kind of thing. Like we all want to help each other out, in any way possible. So yeah.
So this is a boring question, but how do you guys manage all those files? Do you have like some cloud server and you put all your
Yeah.
It's not boring to producers. We all want to know that.
beats on there, or okay?
Google Drive, and WeTransfer, and hard drive disks and all kinds of stuff, man.
Okay. Sounds like a mess. Hopefully you guys found a good way to keep it organized, because my own hard drive is a mess and it's just me.
Oh yeah, yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, that's a ton of organization. So you might not want to talk about this. What up, friendletico? Thanks for stopping by. And I apologize if
Sorry
you
if I
don't, but
butchered that.
In internet money, there is kind of the idea that like Taz is the head, and since he is the one on top, and he does have more to do with almost kind of the getting everyone else out
Drop
there
it in there,
and
man.
connecting them with people. He does take
That helps
kind
me
of
out.
some portions, and that's how they're able to keep running the
Yeah.
internet money house. Is that kind of something similar that you guys do, or is it
No,
everybody?
no.
Okay.
Everybody gets their own take. That's how I feel it should be. Like Taz has got what he's got going on, and I'm doing what I got going on. I feel
Yeah.
everybody deserves what they put in. You put it, or you get out what you put in. Kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Do
Yeah, just let me know when you dropped it in there, man. I'll give it a listen.
you handle a lot of like the business side of it, as far as like split sheets, or just like working with new artists and discussing that kind of thing, or is
I could tell after that internet money question that he was kind of like, didn't want to keep talking about them, which was fine. I just was curious about the parallels, but ever want to join a producer collective? I kind of thought about that actually, like played that hypothetical in my head. Thanks for the question, Luke. And like I even thought about if like he asked me to be on like the 7-6 collective or whatever, and I'm not sure, man. I don't know, because like I know just like what's expected of the people in like his collective and the internet money collective and stuff, and like, and I feel like I would kind of be second guessing myself a lot and comparing myself against everybody else who's in it, and I don't know whether or not that would be a good thing. I feel like, yeah, I would always be like, I don't know if I should be the one doing this because I don't know as much as, so and so in the group, or so and so. So that would be my only fear,
that all like shared responsibility?
I'd say it's shared responsibility, but at the same time, I like do manage all the business.
Hey man, I'd probably rather not click on a Vimeo link, I guess. I don't know a ton about it, but if you have like a YouTube or like a SoundCloud link or whatever, I'll click on it.
Side of things, like if I need to get in contact with an artist for someone else, I'll do it. I'll discuss like how much they're gonna pay, for royalties or whatever. But yeah, I pretty much run the business side of everything. Yeah, I would say that.
Okay. So, oh, go ahead, Luke.
Go ahead. Oh, I was gonna say, do you enjoy that side of it, or I mean, how do you
It's
balance that with the music side too?
it's pretty fun, to be honest. I don't know, like I don't even think of myself as a producer anymore. I feel like I'm more going towards being like an entrepreneur. Like
Mm,
I'm getting into like marketing and stuff like that. So I'm really trying to build the brand, and like start the movement is what I'm doing right now. It's what
that's
I'm more focused on than actual producing.
So
okay.
you're talking about split sheets and all this stuff that's super awesome and like is music to my ears because I love all that stuff. But having worked with people from here so far, I have not heard that term come up once working with anybody. So I'm just kind of wondering, was that something that you were seeing too when you were working with local?
Oh, did you really? I almost thought maybe you might have told me that. I feel like, but yeah, no, that was smart. Definitely, that would have been awkward. I think he would have felt really bad if he was like, "Oh yeah, sorry." But well, what about you then, Luke? Would you want to be in one now? Like, would you submit again, or if he asked you or whatever, would you want to be in it or what?
Artists was just no one was really talking about that stuff, or
Yeah. So I guess a lot of people, I don't know. It's like this is what I'm saying. Like people are like still in this small town mindset. Like they don't want to get into like the business side of things. So
mm,
usually it would just be like, if they wanted like a beat for me, it'd be $50, and that was it. I never got to see any royalties, and that was back in the day too. Like when I was just young, selling exclusives for $50. I'd just give them. They'd give me the money, and I'd give them the beat, and that's kind of like that's it. There was no splits
Hmm.
in as far as royalties or publishing or none of that. But as I've gotten bigger and worked with different people, business is like more in the talks now. Like we're talking, okay, I'll give you this song for exclusive, whatever, and we'll do 50-50. You did the recording and the engineering, and I produced the beat. We'll go right down the middle.
Hmm.
so is that something that you recommend producers maybe from Boise start to get into, or from any small town who may be
Yeah,
listening, just so that they kind of start that habit early and
yeah, I
learn?
definitely
Okay,
recommend it. Yeah, yeah.
okay, awesome.
How, I guess, when you first started selling beats, looking back on that now, do you have any tips for how to approach that conversation as far as like price and just like bringing it up with the artist, or yeah, anything you'd
Yeah,
say?
yeah. So I guess like when
Who
I
just
first started
sneezed?
out, I wasn't really aware that I could make money off of it. It was more just trying to get the music out.
Mm,
Yeah.
And then like eventually, as I felt myself getting better and I felt more confident in my work, I'm like, okay, I think I'm gonna start pricing these guys for my music. And I'd bring it up, and like when we'd be in the studio together, I'd be like, all right, dude, like this is what this song's gonna be. And they look at me a little funny, like why are you charging me for music? But I'm like, I'm I'm confident in my work now, so I'm gonna start
mm.
charging. But yeah, eventually, like once you start building that kind of like that staple name or whatever, when your people start become like knowing who you are.
This is so hard to do because I even did this with people that I was working with from here. Not even like to the extent of this, of just charging them to use the beat at all. I was perfectly content to let them use the beat as long as I got splits. But when they wanted it exclusively, only to them to have the beat, then I was like, oh, it's actually going to cost this much. And even that conversation was so hard to have, like, because they like kind of got like a little weird about it, and like honestly, like they haven't really talked to me a whole ton since then, or like asked for stuff since then. So it's just not to call anyone out specifically, but there are people who are just like giving these beats and like I don't think even really asking for like 50% split, and so like they're just kind of going to those people instead, um, and they're just giving them the beat exclusively without a charge. Like, so I don't know. I'm kind of feeling what Dre's talking about maybe trying to look a lot more outside of the area as of right now.
The price talks come automatically. You don't really even have to initiate them anymore.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's part of that small town mindset then that's maybe keeping people from wanting to have these necessary conversations then.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
Okay.
what I feel.
Do you
My
think? I
experience.
mean, this might have. I'm not asking you to speculate for art.
Oh, you did. Right on. Which other what collective did you submit to?
But do you think it's like just not being aware or kind of not being educated on that, or do you think it is wanting to have a producer who they can work with together for just like because they don't want to pay, or they want to work with a producer exclusively and have like come up together kind of thing?
I'd have to say it was your third one more so just like they
Okay.
want someone that they can have in their corner at all times, you know.
Mm.
But it's yeah, I don't know. There's
Yeah.
a lot of speculation in that.
Yeah.
That's
No,
just my
for
from
sure.
my experience.
That's not even speculation. That's straight up. Like I had a guy from here who I could say but I won't. But and he was just like, "Yo, I want you to be my producer." And I was like, "Cool." And then I was like just make beats for you. He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, yeah, I don't know about that, man. Like I kind of like working with a bunch of people. Yeah, exactly. The group is Side Rail. Side Rail. I don't know anything about Side Rail. Interesting. Well, I hope you get it. When will you hear?
Okay. Yeah, I definitely have had some people approach me and want me to be their like exclusive producer, and I was like I can't give the beats to anyone else, and they're like, no. I was like,
Well,
what?
let's talk about it for a minute because I think for me, if there's an artist that I really believe in, I'm willing to invest that in initially. What are your thoughts on that? Are there artists you work with knowing they can't afford $100 or $300 exclusive or whatever, but they'll give us back end and we can kind of try and develop them
Oh, was it a while ago?
as an artist?
Yeah. So I actually have that going on right now. Like there's someone that I work with exclusively. I mean, me and him, we both believe in each other, you know, and we're trying to get that kind of like Juice World Nick Mira relationship going where we build each other up together and then eventually we'll share the same like limelight or was it spotlight. But
Right.
yeah, I think to an extent there's people who are genuinely wanting to work with you and you're wanting to work with them and you guys want to do this together. And then there's those people that,
Oh, okay. Well, hey, like you said, then maybe it just wasn't a good fit. I don't know. Or maybe there'll be another one that comes along that you can submit to. I mean, I'm sure someone will want you in their collective. Why
just
not?
want you as their exclusive producer and they're just going to milk you for beats, you know?
Hmm.
But yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about differentiating between the two, or how you can find or attract the artists that align with you and like with your sound and just with your work ethic and all of that that you know you would potentially want to develop with?
So let's see. I I like to go out like this is might gonna sound a little bit corny, but I like to show love, to people. Just I think it's cool, to show people that you like their work. I mean, there's nothing you don't lose anything in showing, someone that you
Hmm.
like their work or whatever. But I like to show love to people, and if they show love back to show love back to me, then and we ended up working on something, then I feel like why not just go for it? I mean, there's respect on both sides, and eventually I'm pretty sure if they start, bringing in income or whatever, they'd want to, split it with you, or they see that you're doing this work for them for free. So, yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
So when you were going along then on your path of being a producer, how did you start to break that small town mindset then that you're talking about, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna start getting my music out to these bigger artists, bigger audiences? Like, what would your advice be to someone who's wanting to try and do that?
So what really broke me away from the small town mindset was so I go to college up north in Moscow. I go to U of I,
Mm.
and I started to realize like these guys really aren't doing much for themselves. Just the people that I was working with, I'm like they're kind of just like I said earlier, they're stuck in this like loop. I'm like, I can be bigger than this. I can go out and explore. Like the internet is my resource. There's so many people out there that don't have good producers or whatever. So I'm like, you know what, I can expand this. I can go out. So I just spend time on the internet, just listening to a bunch of small town people, from different areas all over the U.S. and even world. And I'm just like, this is the way to go. Like this is how I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna just work with whoever I thought was dope, and that's what I started doing. And then I realized, like, I'm making more noise leaving this area than I am staying in it. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I think that's one of the things that I see people talk about a lot here that is kind of confusing to me is they all say like, I really want to put on for Idaho and I want like, Boise on the map and all this stuff. And it's like, well, that's great. And they want to keep it really like Idaho centric. I don't understand why they wouldn't want to like maybe do a feature with someone out of state though, or like maybe, work with a producer from like an Oregon or a California or whatever it may be, just because it seems to have benefited you so much just to step beyond those state lines.
Yeah. I feel like if you're gonna make it about Idaho, definitely what you said, you should expand out. Like if you think about it, you blow up somewhere else, you can bring all that back to Idaho and invest it in Idaho, and Idaho will start to build a scene. Like you're not. I mean, I'm not trying to say that you won't get it by building Idaho, but no one's done it in like whoever knows how long. No one's really put it on a name for.
Me personally, I wouldn't even advertise in Idaho. If I set up a marketing campaign for a song I was releasing, if I was an artist, like I would be having it go to like play in like Oregon, California, Nevada, Washington, places like that. I don't even think I'd spend money for it to play in Idaho because I just don't know if the scene is there yet. Like he's saying.
For Idaho, like Idaho doesn't have a sound. You look at LA. LA has a sound. Miami has a sound. New York has a sound. Seattle's starting to build a sound. And then Idaho's a pretty big city. I mean, you guys got like what 200,000 people, and there really isn't like a scene there. But I definitely feel like you need to just like get out. Stop, like get rid of the ego. If the artist has an ego or whatever, they just need to, like I said, collaborate.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I think, do you have any ideas for what
Yo, what up, Justin? How's it going, man?
that might look like? Because you did talk about, putting egos aside, collaborating together with other local artists. What do you think that might look like? More trying to do events or just like hitting people up on Instagram and sending them loops and stuff like that? Or do you think it takes kind of developing yourself outside first and then coming back? Do you think that's like a necessary step to be able to bring that back? Yeah. Okay.
I think so. I definitely think so. Like, I mean, that's kind of what I'm intending to do a little bit too, is I want to build out, out of state. And then I don't see the reason why I would not want to be like a founding, developer and having created a sound in Idaho or giving them life as far as like artistic, whatever. But I feel like definitely leaving for a little bit, developing whatever, and then you can bring that back and other people can see what's going on and other people will want to try it too. And that's where you create your scene,
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So also I've been noticing that you guys have really ramped up on the YouTube side of things. You guys have been putting out a lot of videos and stuff. Is that kind of your main way to like connect with the producer community? Do you see it? Is that kind of the reason why you guys have started ramping that up so hard?
Yeah. So that's our main priority, I would say right now, is our YouTube, because it's crazy. Like we've only been doing it for like a year and a half now, almost 2 years, and I don't want to say our growth is immense, but it's pretty dope because we've just connected with.
That's what's up, man. You came to the right place. He's talking about right now about how they're the 7-6 Collective. They have a bunch of tutorials you should check out on their channel. But he's talking about how they grew their YouTube channel, and I think they're coming up on like 2,000 subscribers and stuff right now. But I'm just chilling, man, making beats, trying to spread some knowledge. That's pretty much it.
With so many other people just through YouTube. You know, like I used to think that it was like you needed to be, you know, active. I mean, you still do need to be active on Instagram, but I thought you needed to be active on all kinds of other, you know, like social media platforms. But I've just realized, you know, how useful YouTube is, and I think it's important that you're active, extremely active on there as a producer, because you can actually, you know, you can build up really fast. I've seen people start a YouTube, and then, you know, in a couple months they're already at like 50,000 subscribers, you know, and they have a fan base, people following them and supporting them. So I think it's super essential to have as an artist or a producer.
Well, yeah, because I mean, this isn't like a slight in any way or anything, but I mean, your Instagram is like 700 followers or whatever. But then
Right.
once you go to your YouTube, I mean, it's like you guys are coming up on 2,000 followers and thousands
Yeah.
of plays on all the videos. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's really impressive.
Yeah.
Can you take us into a little bit into your meetings that you guys have every couple of weeks about what kind of videos we want to put on YouTube and kind of your YouTube strategy at all?
Yeah. So our strategy at the moment right now is we do these like milestone kind of things. So
Yeah, he'll talk about it in the episode, but one of the things they're really focusing on right now is how to make like West Coast style beats, because there's not a ton of those up. So that may be kind of like the main focus that they have on there, but they definitely teach a bunch of good, interesting stuff in their videos. And then, yeah, like Luke's saying, they have a ton of like free MIDI kits and free loop kits and drum kits, and because they do one every time they hit like a new subscriber goal. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Should definitely follow them and check them out.
we'll drop tutorials and stuff like that, but we're always cooking up like loop kits, MIDI kits, you know, drum kits, and we give those away for free. You know, producers love free stuff, but
There we go.
we use those kind of as as a bait a little bit. You know, we'll put those out like every 100 subscribers we'll throw out a free kit, and people will get attracted to that kit. They'll subscribe, and the next thing you know, you're at your next milestone. We'll have that next kit ready, and it's kind of like a pyramid kind of thing, you know. So yeah, that's kind of what
you're running, like a ClickFunnels type, almost like some of these guys are talking about. I know it's really big with like Anno Domini and like I can't remember, Legion Beats, that's right. Where like you create this product for free, you know, that you're wanting people to have, and then so you're drawing them in, and then you're having them subscribe to your channel, and then so you just get this cyclical pattern of people just keep coming back and like wanting more. And
then they go on, and then that too is they also benefit off the tutorials too, you know, because like we're trying not to do things that have already been done. Obviously it's going to be hard to do that, but it's slightly working for us. Like we noticed, I'm really invested in like the West Coast sound right now, like what's going on in LA. And I noticed that not a lot of people are really sharing tips on that. So a lot of our fan base is, you know, from like the LA area and stuff like that. And yeah, so we'll make these tutorials, and then they see like how our beats are, and they want our, you know, our MIDI kits or loop kits, whatever. So they go get that, and then they go watch our videos, and it just works out, you know, for us.
Yeah. So are you really growing then, like producers, or are these videos also drawing in like artists and stuff as well that are hearing the beats and being like, hey, these guys are really dope?
Yeah, so I picked up most everybody that I'm working with as far as like being an artist right now has came off the YouTube channel, and then also like my personal channel doing like, you know, the type beats here and there. That's where I picked up pretty much everyone that I'm working with at the moment.
Okay.
I think it kind of sets you guys apart just because it's like quality content, it's consistent content. People show up to your page and see like, oh dang, you know, this person isn't like, they post a few beats and then a couple months go by and you don't see anything from them. So I think that can make a big difference for an artist looking for somebody who's as serious as
Luke. How's your YouTube challenge thing going? I know you were trying some different things on yours. Has that been working at all, or what?
they are that they want to work with.
Right. Yeah.
So how do you guys decide then when you're making the videos of who is going to do which video? Like, do you guys take turns then with each person? Like you're like, okay, you're this week, and then I do the tutorial next week, or how do you decide that?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that. So, I mean, I pretty much run like all the tutorials just because I feel like I can knock them out, in a more timely manner than everyone else. Because I have my guy Leo who does tutorials, but his are more like his are more based on just keeping attention longer, whereas I'm really getting down to like the points and tips and tricks, that you could add into your beats. But for the most part, I pretty much run everything. But we used to be kind of like on an alternating schedule, but it's kind of like whenever he can get to a tutorial or someone else can get to tutorial, go do it, because everyone kind of knows their part. Like we have everyone working on different things at one time, so we can just build that content to have it ready to go for when we need it. But yeah, for the most part, I just pretty much run the tutorials, and everyone else will like be creating their kits or reaching out to other artists to work or something like that. We like to keep everything rolling at all times, kind of thing. So if I have to take the load for tutorials, I'm totally fine doing that because I actually enjoy sharing knowledge.
Dang, that's crazy, man. Because yeah, you were at like 50 or something, or 60 or 40 or something like that. I can't remember, but that's awesome. Networking on the platform. Yeah, we'll have to talk because I'm curious to know what networking on the platform would look like. That'd be super interesting. I've never thought about trying it on YouTube.
So it's cool for me.
Okay, awesome. And I also noticed that you, I believe, have been doing the graphics also for
Yeah.
a lot of the drops and stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So how important is it, would you say, for like producers in small towns to kind of collect almost this, big old mix of
Definitely, man. We definitely need to.
like just stuff that they know how to do, whether it be like kind of some graphic design and some video editing and like all that. How important has that been for you?
I think it's pretty essential because then it's one less job that you need someone else to do for you. Because there's dudes on YouTube right now that are run everything by themselves. They produce, they do their own editing, they do their own graphic design, they do their own marketing. I don't see why you wouldn't want to have those kind of tips in your arsenal or how to do things in your arsenal. And
I don't think that's a hot take at all. I think that's extremely accurate. But then the inverse of that is I feel like local artists start to care about working with local producers when, like I said, they just start giving them these beats and don't expect anything. And the producers don't expect anything in return. And then you get stuck in this endless loop of, like we were just talking about with Dre, where they're just milking you for beats and they're just expecting you to send them stuff. And then once you actually start talking about like price and everything, then they get kind of weird about it and like almost like offended, like, well, we're growing together, we're trying to blah blah blah. And it's like, well, I mean, there comes a point where that just isn't viable anymore. And like as Dre has shown us, you can go anywhere else and be just as successful with giving beats to other people and stuff. So no, I definitely think you're right. I think a lot of people look up to these artists that are here, and no offense to these artists, but they're, for me personally, I wouldn't look at them and be like, exactly, free exclusives, yeah. But any of these artists here, I wouldn't exactly look at them and be like, oh man, I'm really stoked to work with such and such artists. It's like I am not seeing anybody with that big of a reach to make me be like, oh, I really, really need to work with this person. Especially, like I said, after listening to Dre and being like, wow, he's working with people from like LA, and I don't know, it just kind of leaves a weird taste in my mouth,
And that one thing too is like graphic design. I feel like it's important, kind of important for you to know how to do that too, because you can invest that into your branding. People are like, okay, this guy's graphics are really cool, so his beats must be really good. So it's kind of like not a clickbait kind of thing, but it draws attention.
Okay.
Are you still in school? Or
Yeah,
you
I'm still in
just
school. Yeah, I'm still in
okay?
school, but
Because
the whole quarantine and everything.
right, well, right, of course, yeah. I'm just wondering, like, that's a lot to do, right?
Oh yeah,
Teaching
it's a lot.
yourself graphic design, managing the business side, having this communication with these other producers.
But also, I just want to point this out real quick. Free exclusives, I don't think are a bad thing. Like even Dre was talking about that. Like he's fine with giving them to an artist, but it has to be an artist that he believes in. Like he was saying, someone that's like really putting in the work and stuff. The problem that I have with giving these local artists these free exclusives, and the reason I keep them on my store and I don't, and they start getting annoyed at me, I feel like, because I'm not just giving it to them, is because I'm not seeing the marketing plan that Antoine was talking about last week. If I saw artists who had that kind of plan in place, like for example Cage, I think Cage has that plan in place, but I think Cage has kind of moved beyond local artists and local producers as of right now. He has it, just based off what he was saying on Instagram today. He kind of seems like he has his group and he's content to stick with that group, which sucks because I think I missed on that. But yeah, like if I saw these plans in place and then submitting to blogs and them making music videos and marketing them right, or before COVID, of course, trying to get shows in not just places like this, like Cam, in places like driving to places like in Vegas or Oregon or Nevada, wherever, then I would be much more apt to be like, okay, yeah, I could see giving you this beat and taking it off my store and stuff, but I'm just not seeing that, and so it just doesn't seem worth it to me, at least, as of right now, with the people who are asking me for that stuff.
And while still making your own music and stuff, how do you decide what to work on, and do you approach it from like any content is better than no content, or do you focus a lot on like a direction for the brand when you're getting ideas together? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So let's see. So yeah, school is like a full-time job for me, obviously, because
Right.
I'm always in school. I have a bio. I'm studying biology right now, so yeah, that's a pretty hefty major.
Yeah.
But I try to balance everything out. I'm like, okay, I'll get school done these days, and I'll have the rest of the week to work on the collective. And that's pretty much how I keep it all moving. It gets really tough sometimes, and I'm like pretty much always busy. But I enjoy being busy, so that's kind of how I balance everything out.
Do
Yeah.
you kind of have like a timeline in your head or like some goal in your head of when you're like, and maybe not because you want to go and do your biology, but are you kind of like, okay, if I can get to like this amount of money coming in or whatever, then maybe I can drop school and like go and just do producing full time? Is that kind of something that you have?
That's pretty much exactly what I have. So I'm using like kind of university as like what is it, like a time period to allow me to get to where I want to go, and then I have one more year left of university. So I hope by the time I'm done, like I have everything that I need, to, I'll have my bio degree like as a backup, in case something goes south, but producing is pretty much what I plan to do for the rest of my life, and then eventually I'll invest, everything I make off producing into other things, like I said earlier, so I can have multiple avenues of revenue coming in, so I can just, stay afloat.
Okay. Yeah, that's something
hard.
that. Go ahead, Luke.
Oh, I was just gonna say that's hard to balance, knowing something you don't want to do, but you're having to stick with it while you're trying to build what you do want to do. So
Yeah.
respect for that, because it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not, dude. I do enjoy like science, that's fun to me.
Good.
So I did pick a major that I do enjoy in case, something just doesn't work out. But yeah, that producing is pretty much what I'm going for.
Okay. Now you've mentioned multiple times while we've been talking these kind of multiple uh, streams of revenue, and I know that that's something that maybe not a lot of people think about, especially if they have the small town mindset. I think it's almost kind of hard to envision that you kind of are just like, oh, I put my music out and my music pays me. Like, what are some of these other, revenue streams that you've been able to find and have been able to benefit you?
There's not really too many. I mean, I sell my like drum kits and stuff, but I mean that's not like large amounts of money. And obviously doing YouTube like monetization and stuff like that, we're really trying to grow that so we can make that kind of like one of our big kind of money makers as of right now. And then obviously there's like royalties coming in from like streams and stuff like that, but it's not super crazy because obviously we don't have like millions of plays and stuff. We're in the thousands still. But as of right now, I've just kind of like I do work on the sometimes, like I work sometimes, I work in the summer times. That'll keep me afloat so I can just focus on music. I don't have to worry about paying for school because I have my scholarships and stuff like that. But as of right now, we're still kind of working. We're working for that big revenue to come in. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's, I think though, like setting yourself up for that, like you said, putting together kits and getting your back end set up to be able to collect royalties and stuff like that is smart, because down the road too, once you're building more, once you have artists in your arsenal who are doing bigger numbers, or the ones you're working with now are growing, you have kind of that infrastructure set up. Is there anything you would recommend as far as like resources for maybe kind of setting up kind of the royalty collection or getting a website set up? How do you go about researching, I guess, something you have no idea how to do?
Yeah, so I spend a lot of time on the internet, but there's DistroKid, where I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of DistroKid before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's BMI and
I have a DistroKid video coming out this week. Just by the way, teaching you how to upload on it and how to just use it and everything. All the stuff they have. Just heads up.
ASCAP, where you can sign up for publishing through your social security and everything, and that's where it'll go and collect your royalties kind of for you. But yeah, those are pretty much, that's everything that I use, to make sure that I get what I need.
Gotcha.
Okay. Awesome. So then what are kind of some of the things that people should be on the lookout for coming from the 7-6 collective? Like, what's the next big goal that you guys have, all of you together?
There really isn't like the next big goal. It's just continuing to grow. We want to become like a staple and like an online producer community. Like we want to be a staple. I'm not trying to say we want to be the next Internet Money or the next like Split Mind or whoever's big producing on the internet, but we want to be a staple. Somebody that everybody knows or is aware of. That's pretty much our goal at the moment. And then eventually, as we get bigger and bigger, we'll get into our other avenues of interest.
Okay. And do you work exclusively then off of online with your artists, or have you been able to travel and like go work with them in person and stuff in like California or wherever?
Yeah, at the moment, no, everything is just through online.
It's all online.
I haven't really been. Yeah, it's all online. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. And do you feel like that's put you at like a disadvantage? Do you like wish that you could go down there, or are you happy with just that you're able to work with them at all, or what's kind of your feeling on that?
So yeah, I do wish I could be like in the studio with them, because I feel like we'd be way more productive, being together, because you have two minds working together at the same time, and you guys are able to knock out so much more. Whereas like over the internet, you kind of send out like a beat pack and it.
Local producer expos. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm so freaking jaded on the whole thing right now. I'm jaded on everything today, honestly. This is just one of these days where I really don't feel like being a producer. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like though it's kind of the thing where it's like I feel like that's kind of what Boise Beatmakers was like. It still is, you know, when it starts back up again. It's not dead, but because like you talked about and you mentioned so many times, and you can see in the videos that so much of it is about just sharing beats and showing what people have and what they're working on and all this stuff. Like that would have been an amazing opportunity for artists, and you had artists commenting and stuff and being like, oh, I want to come through, I want to see what people are working on, I want to see the talent, you know, blah blah blah. But it just goes back to my point, which I will probably maintain because I'm just a grumpy old man at this point, but like they're not serious enough about it. They won't even show up to this one thing on Saturday. We've had artists show up, and I've been keeping track of these artists now that we've had show up, and they haven't even put out that much music. We had these artists come again. I won't say who, of course, but like they seemed super nice, like seemed like we had a connection, asked me to send them stuff, sent them a bunch of stuff, nothing, didn't hear anything. And I think they've put out like a couple songs since or whatever. It's just, I don't know, man, it's just frustrating. Like I think you would get people, you could like potentially get people there, maybe if people were like not super lazy and would actually like get there on time. But the problem again that I think you'd run into is you would have these people all working together to get nowhere. You know what I mean? It's very rare that there are artists here who want to actually work with people who, like I said, are doing the right things. And so I don't know. I don't know if they would show up, and I don't know if it would be beneficial to everybody there. I'm just not sure.
They pick a beat from there, but I feel like when you're in person, I feel like you can get a lot more done. You guys are just both like engaged and you clicking, you know, so yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot easier too. You can kind of read the room and see what type of music they're feeling, and maybe choose new beats or something, new melody ideas based on that. So
I prefer producing like that.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Is there a time where things kind of clicked together for you, that you knew this was what you wanted to do full time and like really pick up the business side and run with it? Or has that always kind of been what you were planning to do since you started?
Yeah, I would say so. I feel like if you invested.
Well, exactly. But my point is, I'm not even sure who the serious people would be then, because you've had artists, say that they were going to show up, who have been dubbed or are seen as the more serious artists in the area, and they just never show up, which to me strikes me as weird, because again, like we were saying, there's so much talent that's coming out to these Boise Beatmakers. Like, people are really good, there's really good beats being played, there's people there who offer so much more than just beats. I mean, you have like Nick who's going, Arvello who does like graphic design and shoots videos, and like, you know what I mean, like it just frustrates me that these people who are supposedly the serious ones aren't coming. So I'm not sure who the serious people would be, you know, the people who are really serious and on top of it and stuff, like Cage and Cam and those people. I feel like they're already, you know, they got their people and they're ready to go. I almost feel like, and I know you really want the local side of it, but I just feel like what Wantel was talking about just makes so much more sense. Like, take all these local producers that have so much talent and so much potential and want it really bad, but are just looking in the wrong places, and take them to where their talents aren't going to be kind of tossed aside a little bit, you know? Like, get an Ultrium road trip going and go down there and do that, or maybe, you know, take a Seattle road trip and try to network with people there. I don't know, just something like that. Maybe everyone gets together and goes to like um a conference somewhere. I don't know. That's just kind of my opinion on it, but I'm not sure. You know, you could be right. It could work. I don't know.
This much time into something, then you should go the whole way. You know, no matter what it be, like the business side, marketing side, whatever. Like I in high school, I kind of had like an idea. I'm like, okay, like I've invested like 6 years of my life into making music, and I think I should, you know, go the whole way. But and that'll be like learning everything, you know. But I've always kind of had that goal in mind, you know, to go big with it.
And then, so you said that was in high school, and then you started the collective a couple years later. Is that right?
Yeah, I started the collective like my first year of college.
Okay.
So yeah.
Do you have any, I mean, kind of looking back, do you have any advice, if you were able to give yourself advice from now, anything you would say to yourself as far as like really lean into this direction, like YouTube, or really like you need to find a way to work more hours, or, you know, anything that comes to mind?
To be honest with you, I had no plan, you know. I didn't know what I was doing. And I mentioned that to my guys, and like we had no idea what we were doing. Like when we hit 1K, I was like, it was like a bittersweet moment for all of us, because, you know, like none of us knew what we were really doing. So for us to like just achieve that off of just like winging it, you know. So yeah, it was cool. And now that we're growing kind of fast, we're just like, this is working for us. Let's keep doing it, you know. So yeah, I really had no plan. I just said I was gonna do it, and that's what I did, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's pretty typical. Most people have no idea what they're doing. I can relate to that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Luke here actually started the Boise Beatmakers, and it's been going pretty good. You know, I think, how many people have we been pulling in when we have that?
The last meeting we had in person was actually, I think, 20 or 25 people, and that was the biggest one for sure. But it's grown every week. We got like a couple more people showing up, so that was exciting, because I had no idea there was 25 people producing in the area, and like there's more that have kind of reached out to me. Just
I think I only know like 5 Idaho producers, and you guys are 2 of them. The only other one I know is AC and Marco.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Like they kind of come out of the woodwork, and like you said, like there's no events, there's not that much going on to bring people, I think, together. So I think a lot of them are hiding and just kind of doing their bedroom thing. And someone might have a channel that's like doing well or something on YouTube, and how am I gonna know unless they say Boise somewhere?
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So if that had been something that had been around when maybe you were still, you know, looking to connect with people locally, what's like, I guess, advice then? What would you be looking for if you went to this Boise Beatmakers? What would you be trying to get out of it, or meet, or just what would you be doing?
Definitely look for other people to work with, you know. That's the biggest thing. And like I realized just from producing myself that I can't do everything myself. Like having a team really helps me a lot, because it keeps you in check, you know. It makes you like, okay, like these guys rely on me and I rely on them, you know. We keep each other together, we keep the mission going, you know. So I feel like working with other people really helps a lot, because you can benefit off of each other, you know. It helps everyone out in the end.
All right. I don't know, Luke, you got any more?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure I've got more. Hold on, let me look. I had like a list of some things I wanted to talk about.
That's funny.
Do you work on music every day?
Oh yeah, dude. I was making beats before you guys called me.
Okay. Yeah, I had heard that. So I watched your interview. I've seen it twice actually now. Your interview you did with AC Delgado.
I hate that interview,
It's a good interview, man. Like I learned a lot. And
I was super young. I was like, I think 17 or 18 when I made that interview, and I was really, really ignorant, dude. So I kind of cringe watching it now because I'm like, I was an idiot, you know. But it's whatever.
I mean, we're all like varying levels of idiots throughout our lives. I feel like so. I think just being able to like, I don't know, push through things that you're hung up on
Yeah.
and kind of have an open mind moving forward is huge. But
Yeah.
I don't think I've changed from level of idiot that I was to now. It's maintained.
yeah. So what is like success? I mean, can you kind of define success? I guess we talked a little bit about it, but for you, what is like 5 years or 10 years down the road? What does your day look like? What is that? Um, when you're successful and doing the things that you love, what does a day look like in your life? Do you think?
Well, that's a
Paint
hard
us a
question.
picture.
I'm
Are you living in
I
Idaho? You're living in LA? You're going to the studio? You're
I wish it was a spike, man. I just feel like it's just like a plateau. I don't know what I'm doing right now.
just hanging out and live streaming and not even worrying about getting placements, or what is
I
it?
think I'm not going back to Cali for sure. There's too much drama over there.
Okay.
And I don't know. I think I'd either be in Idaho, Oregon, or Washington for 10 years. You know, I'd probably have like a nice house. You know, I have a home studio and everything, and I have my team around me still. That's kind of what I envision, and we're just still working on the same goal we had when we were 2019. You know.
Yeah.
So,
Do you
yeah.
do you want to continue to develop artists, or do you like doing tutorials, or is there kind of a favorite part of the process for you right now?
As of right now, it's the tutorials. I get a lot of joy out of that, and I learn a lot too. You know, because if I'm wanting to do something new, I gotta continue being a student of the game and understanding everything, and then I'll be able to relay that information to whoever watches us. You know, but yeah, I enjoy the tutorials and then developing whoever I'm working with right now. So yeah.
Do you, when you're coming up with tutorials, are you like studying other producers or artists, or how do you learn yourself, I guess?
I listen to a lot of music.
Yeah.
Like I'm always listening to music, so I'm always like picking up on things that I hear in like the mixes or just the production itself. But I don't really watch other tutorials. I guess I just kind of listen through sound, I guess, and that's how I kind of pick everything up. But because everything is kind of very cohesive nowadays, I would say. But yeah, I just listen to a lot of music, and that's kind of where I pick up my influences, or if I want to teach that in a tutorial or something. So
Okay.
yeah.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
And do you recommend, I don't know how you operate day to day, but do you have like a schedule that you stick to? And then would you recommend that other people try to do that, like a daily schedule?
I guess I would just recommend doing whatever works for you. But what I like to do is, in the mornings, I'll leave that, because I have school, so I still do schoolwork in the mornings. But in the afternoons, I save all that time for.
I don't feel like I had an actual schedule when I asked this question. And I always love seeing producer schedules because then I would pretend like I actually had one and that I was going to follow it. But now I actually do have more of a schedule, so I am progress in that area.
Or tutorials or talking with the team or producing, whatever. But that's usually how I run things, and that's what I found to be most efficient for me, So, yeah.
Is there something that for the tutorials, is there something that kind of gave you confidence, like I have something to teach people, or even just like, I don't know, like I've put together videos and it's easy to be really self-conscious about like how you're acting even on camera, or like
yeah. I'm still super like self-conscious, like, but it's just something you have to fight through, dude. Like it's what it is. Like sometimes I'm like, I sounded so stupid in that tutorial, but I'm like, I'm just gonna put it out anyways, because then I'll never put it out. But yeah, it's just something you have to fight through for sure.
Do you feel like it gets easier, or you get better with practice?
Oh yeah, definitely. I remember like when I first started making videos, I'm like, this is so bad, I'm just like, this is just bad. But now I'm just starting to like relax into it. I try not to like talk too much or overthink it, just kind of do it, So yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like when you're trying to put out your first beats, you just start
Oh,
overthinking
man.
everything, and you don't want to even put them out because you're like, no, this is stupid. Like this sounds dumb, like or whatever.
Yeah,
But just have to force your way through it.
exactly.
Yeah, it's like self-confidence and the flip side, self-sabotage, I feel like is a huge piece of like being able to get out of your head and be successful. I think with music is just finding a way to either have confidence or just like not care or just know I got to put in this work. If it's going to work out, I got to make it work until it works. It's
I feel
like,
like I feel like a lot of people too feel like they're going to be validated by someone's opinion, you know, where it's you should be validated by your own work and how much you put into it, you know.
Yep.
yes,
Yeah.
totally, totally.
So how did you personally overcome that then? You talked about when you started asking the artists that you were working with to start, paying and to do
Yeah.
split sheets and whatnot. How did you get to that point? Because that's even something that I still struggle with. If I've been working with someone for a while, I like feel weird about even bringing it up, and I get self-conscious. How did you get to that point? What's your advice?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I guess I just became like just really just confident, you know. I'm just like I've seen how much I've grown, you know, and I'm just like I have to start being confident in myself, like no matter what people are gonna say, your beats suck, whatever, you know, it's whatever. But you just have to brush it off, you know, and just you have to really not invest in yourself, but just be really like confident in yourself, you know, just no matter what. It's just something you have to do, regardless of anything, you know.
Well, so I guess kind of wrapping this up here then, what are just some things that you want people to be on the lookout for, or how can they connect with you? Just let them know.
Okay, so yeah, you can connect with me through my Instagram. That's where I'm most active, and Twitter as well, both at 76. And you can connect to the actual team at 76 Collective on Instagram or YouTube. And yeah, that's pretty much everything.
Is that spelled out 7-6 with
Oh no,
lettering?
sorry, that's numbers. So 76,
Okay.
like the 7 and 6 Collective is our team page, and then my personal Instagram and Twitter is at 76, and that's spelled out SEVNSIX.
Okay.
I'll put it all up here next to your picture anyways when I upload this. But all right. Dre,
I
I
lied.
want to say
It's in the
thank you so
description.
much for stopping by and talking to us.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. Appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, no, it's been awesome. I think you've given us a lot to think about. I also liked how you brought up our big buzzword that we use a lot without even like us mentioning it, the small town mindset. We talk about that so much, so that was cool to hear you bring that up.
Yeah, for sure.
Really excited, man, to see the channel growing and looking forward to seeing what's next for you guys. So keep going.
Yeah,
for sure. Thank you.
Very helpful.
I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk to you later then. Thank you so much.
All right. Good call. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Later.
Take care.
Bye.
Yeah, they do. They get me thinking a lot too, for sure. That's always been the outro on all of them. I took the sound from Earthbound because that's what our little avatars are based off of, and then I just pitched it down so it didn't get tagged by YouTube or whatever. Yeah, I don't blame you. I just put it there because it's fun. But all right, that was it. Gonna have another one next month. I don't know. I'm probably gonna be asking. I'm gonna put up a poll on Twitter and Instagram and maybe in the Discord and stuff. I want to know what people think about paid collabs, because that's been a big topic going on in my Twitter feed right now. And so I'm just curious what everybody thinks about those. because I have like a big I have like a yeah, I have like a spreadsheet, and I have different the money that I've made off music going to different things, which isn't a ton, just disclaimer. But it goes to different things like maybe advertising or equipment, whatever. And then also one of them is paid collabs, because I heard how beneficial they are by some people. But now uh, some of the people online are saying that like they're not worth it, and um, they don't really work, and like producers will claim they can get you whatever. I mean, typical stuff, but they said it's more worth it for you to invest in your own advertising and whatnot. So probably gonna ask about that and just see what people are feeling on that, because if it gets to the point where people are like, yeah, it's not worth it, and that kind of seems to be the general consensus, then I'll probably move around my I don't know, kind of like my breakdown of money. Maybe have some more of it go to like ads or something, and then I'll have to let you guys know if that's working or whatever. But I don't know. Just trying to figure out ways in which I can finally get these beat sales going. Also gonna be working on finally starting to work on trying to get some piano melodies going. Hopefully start sending those out to people who want them. I'm not entirely sure what the best way to do that is. I don't know if I should just like send just the raw recording, or if I should like put it into Ableton and try to do something to it first, or I'm not sure what the best way for that is. Maybe I'll ask also online, or if anyone has any ideas how they would want it, let me know. But although I guess maybe Luke, I should talk with you, because I know you obviously have a lot of experience sending loops and stuff out, so maybe I'll actually talk with you about what you have learned and stuff, and what you would do or not do. That might be worth it. That'd definitely be worth it, talking with you about that. And then yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Like I said, I got a distro kid video coming out this week on YouTube. So hopefully that helps, because I know a few of the people that follow me were asking me about uploading their stuff. So yeah. Anywho, awesome. Well, I will see you guys all tomorrow, same time. Oh, Luke, also I have a loop that I don't know what to do with from Antoine. I'm gonna ask him if I can shoot it over to you, because you might have an idea for it. But anywho, yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow, same time. Bye.